I don't know if we're back or not. All right, I think we're back. Man, I hate my computer. Some days it is just out to get me. Chatting away. Restart. There was a problem. It failed. Blah, blah, blah. Restart. So I think we're back up online. If anybody's still there, still hanging around, you can give me a shout. The good news is our projects are dry. While I was waiting for that to do its thing, we've got them dry, which is good. All right. So I'm going to use the stamp from Tailored Expressions, which is called Doodle Flowers Background. And I'm going to use my Misty for this. And because the stamp has got, foam, it's foam mounted, I'm not going to need that doodah. So I'm going to pop this in here. Ooh, before I do that, I'm actually going to cover it with a anti-static bag, powder bag, to make sure that my area is nice and ready for embossing. Hey Tiffany! So I'm going to try this away from my Misty, because if I get it on my Misty lid, then my stamps don't stick to the lid properly, obviously, because it's creating little dust particles everywhere. So, for those of you who've just joined that may not have watched the first section of this video, when my computer rudely crashed, I've made these backgrounds using the Ken Oliver color bursts. And I used the vibrant one. I made that one first of all, and then I used whatever pigment was left on my mat here to pick up the residue for that one. All right, so let's pop this in here. Pop this down. Make this somewhat straight. And then look at my stamp. Awesome. So, doesn't really matter where I put this, but I'm going to try and put it in places where there's going to be lots of color. So pretty much just going to center it kind of here. Pick it up with my lid. And then I will use my Wow embossing pad to cover this in the clear embossing ink. And the good thing about using the Misty is that I can stamp this a couple of times to make sure that I have these flowers stamped really well, because it's a large stamp. Sometimes you just accidentally miss some areas. And so I'll do it 2 or 3 times and see what happens. Ooh, pretty. So it's my mum's birthday today, and I was thinking I might make this into a card for her. Because I'm an awful daughter and did not yet send her a card in the mail. Oops. I actually think that's pretty well stamped, to be honest. I'm going to be using the Ink on 3 Crystal Clear Ultra Fine Embossing Powder. So let me take this out of here first of all. And I'm just going to grab a piece of printer paper from my printer. Which will help me catch all this overflow. I've not used this one before, this Ultra Fine by Ink on 3. So I'm excited to find out. I do have some Ultra Fine embossing powder in a little tub. Well, clear embossing powder in a little tub. But I actually don't think it's Ultra Fine. I think once upon a time I must have accidentally mixed normal in with my Ultra Fine. So recently it hasn't been giving me the best results when I use that, especially if it's with something like a word, you know, fine stamped lines. So I'm excited to try this little guy out. Gonna give it a little blow just to get rid of some of the powder that is lurking around. I'm really not going to worry too much about it, but I am going to go and blast this with my heat tool, my other heat tool, my more noisy one, and more intense, so bear with me while I do that. I'm actually going to put you guys on mute because it's really loud. Be right back. All right, so that went really quickly because I've got the Wow double speed heat tool. And let me see if I can zoom in so you guys can see this. You see up here, kind of a tone on tone effect. We're gonna make that hopefully pop in a little bit. Let's see. I actually want to cut it out now using my stitch rectangle die. I use the largest one here. See if I can get this cut down to the size of a card front, and then I'll run it through my Gemini, and then we'll ink up the rest of the card over the top of the colors that we just created. Okay, let's try this. Perfect. So I used the Imperial Stitch rectangles for that because I like using A2 note cards for my card. So that's cool. I'm actually, before I go any further, I'm going to cut out Mum out of the middle. Ooh, actually. I'm not sure if it's going to pop enough. Let's try it. Let's use my stitched alphabeters. And the age-old question, do I go for a mum or do I go for a mom? I think I'll just go for mum. And try to get it somewhat centered. It's kind of hard at the moment because it all looks the same. And I'm going to keep that safe because I'm going to need that to pop it back in later. I might choose to do white, but I think it might be fun to keep the colours that were on the background. Right, I'm going to need to pop this one out. And then pop it on this side. Try that again. Awesome. All right, this Heffy memo tape, I'm going to stick these two to it so I don't lose it, and then move the rest out of the way so I can ink up the rest of my card. And I'm going to ink it in black, I think. Not sure what it's going to turn out like. Maybe I should do like a dark purple. Nah, let's just do black. Black? Yeah, let's do black. So, don't know how it's going to turn out, but we'll see. Ooh. Simon ink pad. And I'm just going to rub it on here. Oops. It's kind of catching in all those little nooks. And here where you can't really see the design, it's just because there's a dark purple underneath it, I think. I think if I was doing this again, I'd probably use the dark purple or a navy. I kind of like the way it looks, a bit like a chalkboard. And I think this would look better if I hadn't used the purple. Maybe more yellows. Let me do a little bit of damage control here. My craft mat is no longer looking very white. So let me show you. There you go. What do you think? Quite unusual, I think. So then we've got the mum that we can pop into there. Although I think it might look better if we, oh, that one's on this side. If we just leave it white and make it really pop with the white. I might trim down my card so that it has a white border. And then have the white pop of color in the middle. So Amy says, I love how subtle it is. It is. So I kind of want to trim it down, but then I also really like the stitching effect on the edge. Let's see what it looks like when we have a white piece of card kind of under it, because that might be our deciding factor. So we either have it like this, Mum, this, or sort of offset it and have it. I actually really like it like that. So let me get my trimmer and trim off each of the stitching on each side, but not too much because I don't want it to take away any of the any more of the florals, you know. And in fact, I think it might be cool to raise this up. Let's get some foam tape. Good old foam tape for me. By the way, I've just added this 3mm, not this one, but some 3mm foam tape to the store. So those of you who have been watching my live streams and asked me where I get my 3mm deep foam tape, I have been able to secure some in different thicknesses of tape. So this one that I'm using is quite thick. I think that's probably 1.5 inches or something. But I've been able to get 5mm, 10mm, 12mm, and 15mm, which are also sizes that I use. And I've just added them to the store. And they come in that big roll of 20 meters. So they'll last you for ages and ages and ages. I've just added them to the Heffy Doodle store. So if you're asking or looking, you can check that out. Right, it's like 3 minutes till I need to go and pick up Piper. Wow. Could probably push it to 5 minutes. See how long it takes me to take the release off this. I think once we get this stuck on, we'll finish it off with some Nuvo drops, maybe some of the white ones or some clear ones or both. Try to get this somewhat centered. Oh, phew, I had a feeling that my card was upside down for a second there, my note card. All right. It's kind of hard to see how beautiful it is. Let me turn up my brightness. Can you see? It looks really like a chalkboard, which is kind of cool, I think. So I think a couple of Nouveau drops, maybe some sequins on there, and it'll look pretty cool. What do you guys think? I think if also if I did the same with the this one, it would pop even more. So maybe I'll do that a little bit later and try that out. Seeing as I have my stamp already and my Misty ready to go, you can just pop it in. It won't take very long at all. All right, that's me. I'm gonna go and pick up Piper for her first day of school and go get some pumpkin spice latte. Sorry about the hoo-ha earlier when my computer restarted, but thanks for those of you who have rejoined. And I hope that you have a really crafty day.